So here we have a delivery from Amazon. This is the Grandista Special Edition Edward Newgate. And judging by pictures I've seen online of the figure box, I feel like it's about this exact size. So I'm guessing it's packed like really tightly inside of this Amazon box. So I'm going to get the camera on the tripod, then we'll open it up and see. And I usually like to use a box knife for this, but I can't find it. And I just want to get this open already. So let's get it opened up and see. Yes, I do not use scissors for this often. So it's a little awkward to do, but I think I got it. Let's see Whitebeard. Alright, so here he is. Looks like the box was a little bit bigger. So yeah, we can see it's packed really tightly in there, but not really in a good way. It's just like squished into the box. There's no, no extra space for packaging really, except on the sides, but it's so tightly against the back and front that it's holding it in place. And yeah, Amazon puts like no care into packaging. So always taking a chance when it comes to how things are going to arrive from Amazon, but I keep ordering from them, and it's easy to return stuff anyway if something were to go wrong. All right, look at that, a little cut right there. Yeah, I would have been better off ordering this from Crunchyroll, actually. Look, it's also damaged here, but I've become less like picky about the figure boxes as I've been collecting for longer, though of course I would always like it to arrive in as good condition as it possibly can. So yeah, this one got a little wrinkled up because they just packed it so tightly in that box. And even though Crunchyroll is kind of known for bad packaging, they've actually been packaging my most recent like 5 orders from them somewhat decently, at least better than Amazon. But this time it did make sense for me to buy it from here, so I just bought it from here. Though, yeah, part of me is kind of wishing I would have just went with Crunchyroll, but he's here. I'm sure the figure inside will be fine, so let's just open it up and I'll live with the damage on the box. So here is the side here. We see Whitebeard, and yeah, this one actually didn't release in Japan, which is interesting. A lot of these Grandista special editions, I don't know exactly which countries get them and which ones don't, but I have heard that Japan does not get these releases. Okay, so this should be a bit of a better view of the box. Let's look at it again. Here's the front. Yeah, okay, so this is just like really cheap. I mean, it's not that big a deal. It's a box. It's just funny. I don't know. It's just funny. Look at that. It's kind of broken. See that? It's like the window. It's just this really thin film, and it's not even glued here. I don't know if that came off during the shipping, but wow. Okay, so I guess I'll weigh him. I guess I'll go get the scale and weigh him. All right, so let's see how much he weighs. And I'm actually having a lot more fun doing videos like this where I just don't put too much thought into it, just start recording and open the damn thing, because like last year, 2025, I maybe uploaded 5 figure reviews because sometimes I just put too much thought into them and then kind of burn myself out. So it's either like no figure reviews, or I'm just going to keep doing them like this because I just cannot keep up doing them if I'm overthinking every little aspect. So 3 pounds here, he weighs 3 pounds in the box. Let's just get him out of the box, then I'll show you him. Though it would be fun to get a picture of him. I always like to get a picture of see, it's dumb shit like that just ends up wasting my life away. I don't have time to worry about such little things or care about taking a picture of the front. There you go. There it is. All right. But yeah, he's looking good in there. I'm getting pretty excited to see him out of the box. And yep, there was the previous, Grandista Edward Newgate, which doesn't come with the coat. And I kind of wanted to get that one too. I thought it would be fun to get it to unbox and review next to this one, but I just can't spend money on stuff for the sake of a video, So did not get it. I mean, I'd like to have it myself too, but like realistically, I already have more figures than I can display at once, so I really don't need to buy 2 Grandista Whitebeards when I know this is the one I would prefer. So, here he comes. Wait, he's stuck in there. Alright, let's switch the camera. We'll get you a good view like this. See Newgate coming right out of the box. I think, what is he? He's like, all right, let's look at that floppy thing. Look at that. I mean, I'd prefer it to just be a box, give it more protection, but I don't think it hurt him. I mean, he's got this too, you know. I might like try to glue that back. I mean, I guess it is nice to have the window to be able to see it. Like, I did see the Grandista Special Zorro at GameStop, and it did catch my eye because that window was there, so I saw him inside of it. And when I saw him, I thought, oh, that actually looks pretty good. I don't think I'd really heard of the figure, or maybe I had just seen the original Grandista version, but yeah, I can definitely see the benefit to having the window, especially if they're like going to be sold in stores like that. And also, this is not a crane game price figure like, you know, every other Grandista figure you get in the crane games from Japan. So they kind of need to be closed off in the box and all that. But this is just a regular release figure, so no crane game for this one. But yeah, I'm not sure which countries this one is available in. But I'm in the US and he is available here. And this code is really what sold me on the figure. I thought it looked really nicely done in the videos and pictures I've seen. So now it's right here in front of me, so we'll see. We'll see how it looks in just a second. Okay, I think we got all the sides now. I'm gonna get him out of this box. And yes, once again, it would be easier with a box knife. Because like this part of the scissors is so fat. At least this pair of scissors. This one's thin, but it's not really doesn't really feel natural to hold it this way, so it's very awkward. And look at that, like these just come apart like that, which actually might be perfect for this. Or is that the, oh, maybe this is the sharper side. Okay, yeah, it looks like this one's got tape going all the way around. And does he have any of those little bubbles to snap in? Yeah, he does have some. So, but it looks like it's also got tape going all the way around, so gonna cut all the way around here. Let's see if I can get him out. Wow, this is cracked up too. Look at that. The plastic cracked. All right. Whatever. Yeah, I should have bought this on Crunchyroll. Probably would have arrived better. And sure, I could return it to Amazon, like I'm sure. Or maybe not now that I'm already opening it. So whatever. Let's get him out. All right, Newgate is ready to come out. Yeah, sometimes the plastic wrapping will be like taped on also. Okay. Why is this open? Look at that is opened. It probably got torn open right now, but I don't know. His weapon. And that looks really nice. I like the gold color, the way they colored it in there. It's not like flat, you know, it's what's the word for that? Kind of shiny looking. And I also love how they did the correct pattern on the blade here. But this was the main thing I knew I wouldn't be too happy with, which is the grip portion of the weapon. Like it's just brown. They didn't color in those lines going all the way down. And for me, that's a big deal on Whitebeard figures. I really like to see those colored in. But on so many of them, they just skip out on that, on so many of the Whitebeard figures. But I already knew that going into this, so I've accepted it. And it's not the hardest thing in the world for me to paint myself, but I also I want to buy a figure and not have to think, oh yeah, I should repaint that piece, you know. But yeah, here is the other half. And this is just going to hook together like this. But we should get it into his hands first. And it's got a bit of a curve to it, you can see. Yeah. And now for Whitebeard himself. Let's get this beast out. Oh yeah, that's nice. They have the foot stand on him, but inside of plastic. I guess so it doesn't like rattle around and get paint transfer, but it's nice. And yeah, this looks pretty good. It has some white in it and also some like bluish grays, so that looks pretty nice. Let's what was that? I think he might have just hit the camera. I thought I dropped something. But actually, before we get it on, let's look at Whitebeard. So down here is the little marking, and it just looks like it's just printed on here on this one. Some figures have them like etched into the actual plastic, but this one is just printed on. And yeah, pants look nice too. We can see some shading in the pants. And here is Newgate. I always love when they do gold trim on his coat, and it looks really nice on this one. And there's also like some kind of shading going on throughout it. You can see it gets darker in certain bits, especially down here. Like this is really nice looking, actually. Look at that. You can see like the darker red tones in there. And yeah, I think the coat looks really nice. Let's see the back of it. The logo looks good there. See some shading in the cuffs here. Though this part is not colored in, I think that would be colored in. And then we can see all these buttons are colored black going up here. And then the little loops that they would hook into if he were to ever actually close his coat. And the sash, yeah, I got a little bit of flexibility to the sash right here. And the body sculpt, I think it looks really nice. Like really good job capturing how muscular Whitebeard is without exaggerating it. And there does look to be some little marks on the chest on mine. Maybe sometimes those can be like cleaned off, but a little spot there and there. So I was doing this on my own, but I thought I might as well just record it and put it in the video. So there are some blemishes on this one. I actually did this earlier. I didn't realize it would come off, but I just rode my finger on his mustache there because there were some black specks there. I thought they were like permanent little blemishes, but it was just like little flakes, like something left behind from the production of the figure, I guess. So we're gonna see if we can get the rest of those off because there's this spot on his chest. See if we can focus on that. So right there's a little black spot. And another one up there, which, yeah, this stuff isn't really noticeable when he's on the shelf, but I still like to get it off when possible because I like to take close-up pictures, and this stuff is visible when I'm close up like this. I've also used a Mr. Clean Magic Eraser for some figures to get, like, paint transfer off, but that scrapes the paint off of your figure, so you have to be careful doing that, but I have done that before. And then the one that's bothering me the most is right here. Let's see if we can get a clear look at it. I already started scraping this off with my finger, so it doesn't look as bad as it did, but there's like some black something there. So I got this towel, and I'm gonna see if I can just scrape it off. Yeah, this is helping somewhat. Yeah, I think you can see a difference there just through the camera. Let me look at it right in front of my face. Yeah, that's good enough for me. It's not as apparent as it used to be at all, so that's good enough. I don't want to go any further and risk messing something up. And then there's this here, which don't want to scrape it up, but let's do a little. I think it is coming off. Yeah, kinda. Does it look better? There's still that little speck. I mean, I'm just gonna leave that one there. And on the chest, I feel like this one could be the toughest one to get off. I guess I should take the weapon out. Yeah, you can see those there. Let's see. Will that just come off? Oh yeah, it has lessened it. All right, pretty happy with the results. I think he looks really good now. Even looking kind of close up like this, I don't really notice any of those things anymore. There's also this little rough portion right here on his sleeve, and I did notice that on one of the videos I was watching, so I was wondering how common that was. So if anyone else watching this is wondering, then yeah, mine also has that little rough patch here, which there's not really any way to fix that, and I don't really see it as a problem. I barely even notice it, but yeah, there is a bit of like a little rough looking patch there. So if you happen to get one of these Whitebeards and were thinking the same thing, then yeah, mine does also have that. Do all of them have it? I don't know. I can't buy 50 to check that, so I don't know. But I did see a video of at least one where I could make that detail out little bit of a rough spot there. Oh, actually, I can feel it. I can feel the little bit of a difference. And there's also another rough spot on the other sleeve, and they just don't look like something that they don't look like they're part of the sculpt. So I wonder how that happens in production. I mean, if I am wrong and they're part of the sculpt, then I guess they are, but to me they don't look like that. And then also down here, if you look really close, there's like some little residue, glue or something in this little crevice, but you know, I'm looking really close, just examining it. Looking at it here, look like this, you're not really gonna see any of that. I just have fun examining these figures close up and pointing out anything I notice. And I did work on this spot a little bit more. I got it pretty much gone because I had the lights on and I was like, oh, that is actually kind of noticeable. Now it's just this this very small speck. But yeah, the towel did a good enough job, and I did put a little bit of water on it, so it was damp when I was getting this stuff off. I don't think I had mentioned that. And then also on the first Grandista Whitebeard, there's this really ugly seam going all the way around here and also around the back. But thankfully the coat is covering it here. If it does exist on this one, I'm not sure. Oh yeah, you can also see the tattoo on his back even under the coat, so that is really nice. But we can see a seam here around his neck, which is kind of hidden by the collarbone. I think that makes it look not as terrible as it could look, so I think I'm okay with that. But yeah, there is a visible seam line right here. But yeah, the collarbone covers that pretty nicely, in my opinion. And yep, he's got the scars that see how they etched into him. Yeah, they are actually. I always like it when they do the scars like that, which I feel like they do in most cases, though. There are probably some where they're just like printed on there maybe, but yeah, you can feel that these are actually sculpted into there. So that's always good. And yeah, let's take another look at the collar of the coat. Yeah, it looks really good. Look at that. Nice shading in there, and these look pretty good too. I say this is one of the better Whitebeard figures. Yeah, I think the mustache looks good too. You can see it's actually fully sculpted, like rounded and not flat. But yeah, I'm feeling like this is one of the better Whitebeard figures out there. And there's also some shading going on throughout the white, like that kind of really light bluish, maybe bluish gray color. I really love it. All right, now let's get the foot stand on. And I like that they made it like little like cloud dust instead of one of those ugly like clear ones. Yeah, I go back and forth on those. Like they do save space, but I think they're pretty ugly most of the time. Like those clear foot stands, you know. But here we go. Make sure I get it on there because he kind of slipped back. Yeah. This might have some stability issues. It's not really hooking on. Like lots of times if you put these stands on, they're kind of like snap you'll feel them kind of snap and hug onto the leg, but you can see this one's right up on there, and it's kind of just falling off. But let's see if he can stand up. Let me try again. Yeah, he's falling back. All right, and here is the number 2766044. Let's get this into his hand. So this will go here. And the other one from back here. Yeah, they're almost at, like, you can see, like, it is supposed to be curved. Let's see. But it's almost like they're meeting at different angles right here. You can see, like, his hands holding it. It's kind of coming up like that, while this one's curving up into it. It just seems like it's going to put, like, stress on it. But I think in the picture they have this, like, all the way in. So maybe it's just supposed to connect here and kind of hide the... I think it's supposed to connect here to hide that seam line. So let's try that out. Okay, there, I got it connected. It's connected now. And yeah, you can hide the seam if you slip it just like that. Then he's holding it. And I think that's about how he's intended to hold it, though yeah, you could slide it back and expose that if you wanted to. And let's put the foot stand back on. Maybe now it'll hold them up with that weight, but I doubt it. Well, look at that. It does. Okay, so after messing around with the foot stand for a bit, I realized that there's actually this little groove you can see in the stand, and that's for the edge of the coat to go into. So while it is possible, like sometimes he will stand up just like this, but it's kind of wobbly, so I'm pretty sure it is intended to be like this. Put the foot in there and then the cape right there like that. And yeah, that'll make him pretty stable. So here we have the face, and I think it looks great from any angle. From the side it looks like Whitebeard, and we also have a nice vein there in the neck. And then yeah, from this angle looks just like Whitebeard, and from the front it looks great as well. And also, like I always like this angle with Whitebeard when he's wearing his coat. We can see his face, his mustache, and then the really nicely detailed coat there. And I'm not sure where I'm going to display him yet, but I do have some cleared out shelves. But right now I'm going to put him in the 4 Emperors shelf and see if he fits in this spot. Alright, so here's what he looks like in my 4 Emperors shelf. And he just happened to fit perfectly in that spot where I had the other Whitebeard. And I haven't decided which of the Whitebeards I'm going to keep here. I think both look good here, though part of me wants to put the other one back. I feel like he fit really well there. So if I do end up finding a different spot for this one, then yeah, he'll be somewhere in the collection. Or like I said, I could just switch them out every now and then. But yep, here he is in the 4 Emperors shelf, and do I think he's worth the $70? For me, he is worth the $70. The coat is really just beautifully done. I love the coat. Like that's a really nice coat for this price point. I mean, the coat looks great in general, like regardless of price point, but I guess what I'm trying to say is I have had figures that are more expensive than this one that weren't painted as nicely as this one. And I also love the pose of it, the sculpt of the figure. I think the body looks great. It's not exaggerated, and the blade of his weapon also looks really nicely done. And yeah, maybe I will actually paint these little lines in. That would really take him to another level. I feel that's really the biggest downside to this one for me. This not being colored, and also the foot stand being a little finicky. And throughout the course of making this video, a lot of paint transfer has accumulated inside of the stand. You can see from the boot. There was not that much on there when I first opened it. But the boot still looks the same, so whatever. But yeah, that did happen. So yep, a beautiful beast here. Look at that beast.